As someone who really liked the Forest, I've been anticipating Sons of the Forest for a while now. I got 4 of my friends to hop on and buy it when we saw that the Steam page was live. Hold up though, it's early access. Well, how is it? And how does it live up to that $30 price tag as well as its predecessor? The game is very much like the original Forest. The player crash lands on an island and they have to survive. They'll have to pay attention to their hunger, thirst, and sleep levels. When these levels are low, they will cut into their stamina considerably. Managing these meters is very easy at the beginning, as killing animals for food, finding drinking water, and finding materials for a sleeping structure is not a hard task. There are 2 types of building methods. One is more free-handed, the other has a list of structures that one can pick. Once the player returns to the structure and puts in the materials for it, it will be completed. Collecting materials can be a bit repetitive, but that's where Calvin comes in. He is a deaf guide that will accompany the player's quest. The player can give him instructions, and one of these instructions is to gather materials. Calvin is easily one of the best things added to the gameplay loop. The caves in Sons of the Forest are kinda hit and miss. Some caves will take a good while, have plenty of enemies that can rock your shit if you're not careful, and have important progression-based items in them. Items such as the rebreather and shovel can be found in these longer caves. Some of these caves, which my friend aptly named shit caves, will have a couple of items to loot. And that is it. Some of these are literally a single room and they just feel like a tease. It's a letdown to see that the cave marker on the map and just have it be a shit cave. Combat is pretty similar to the original. We found that the best strategy is to have one guy use a torch to set the cannibals on fire and have the others just swing away with their axe. Of course, you can also just cheese most fights with explosives and guns as well, although ammo is limited. There are a few different cannibal types, but they mostly blended for us. Besides the finger dude, I'm a huge fan of those types. The player can skin some of these enemies to make armor for themselves. Some caves are more man-made, which is actually a pretty cool idea. Some of these will have a 3D printer that the player can abuse to make cool items. For example, they can 3D print a flask so we can carry around water. Another cool item that the player can 3D print is a sled. The sled is awesome, guys. Try going to the top of a mountain and just sled down it. It is so much fun. It goes stupid fast for no reason. It's just so much fun. I'm playing this with 2 groups of friends. One of them wanted to get to the end somewhat quickly, while the other group just wanted to take their time a bit and build out their base. You know, they wanted to build some structures and mess around a bit. This gives me 2 different perspectives on the game. I'd say that taking your time, it's probably the better way to play personally. There really isn't too much to the game if you rush it. Sons of the Forest is what you make of it. The graphics are super nice. Like, really nice. This is straight up one of the best looking games that I've played, and I played on lower settings. It should be noted that the performance issues creep up a decent bit of the time. I don't have a supercomputer or anything, but the game struggled to run at 30 FPS at times. I know that 2070 Super and an AMD Ryzen 37X, they are a bit dated at this point, but I really thought that this game would run a bit better on lower settings. I'm not sure how others feel on this point, but I personally feel like that the map size, it's just too big. If the world was dense with places to go and things to do, then sure, make a huge map. However, the map feels pretty bare. It makes getting around a pain in the ass too. Speaking of that, there aren't many cool ways to get around. The sled is cool, but situational. And they just added a hang glider, which is also pretty cool. But again, situational. It feels like way too much time is just spent running from point A to point B. I don't want to spoil too much, but I also thought that the story was kind of ass. I'm not a huge stickler for stories in games like this, but I feel like it was worth mentioning. Just look around the community, they are much more mad than I am. There was also no final boss when my friends and I played, which meant that the ending was extremely anticlimactic. My friends and I couldn't believe that we beat the game, like we were confused for a second. It felt like there should have been something more. Funnily enough, right after typing the script down and deciding to voice it, they added a final boss. Trust me, I know the game is in early access, so it's always important to remember that the devs were going to keep adding content over time. I want to give my thoughts when I finish the game though, and there's no final boss at the time. I wouldn't doubt if End Night Games are working on the story too as we speak. So as of now, the question I asked at the beginning is a bit hard to answer. Should you buy this game? I won't lie, $30 for it can be seen as a bit high right now, but I already have over 20 hours in it. As it is early access, it will receive more updates down the line. I'd only say buy if you are in these 3 camps. 1. You are thinking about playing the Forest again with a fresh coat of paint. The gameplay of Sons of the Forest is of course very similar, but it does have its own feel and world. 2. You have friends that want to play it as well. To be completely honest, I probably wouldn't play this game solo. Messing around with friends is easily the best part of the game, full stop. And of course, number 3, might be the biggest one, you can come to terms with the fact that this is an early access game. It has less content than the Forest, and overall, the game can be kinda rough at times. The potential really is there. So in a very quick nutshell, that's Sons of the Forest. Yeah, I realize that it's in an early access, so I won't give it a grade or anything. Overall, it's a fun survival game that is great with friends. If one has stumbled onto this without playing the first one, I honestly recommend buying the first one for only $20, and because it's a better game overall. Looking at the Steam reviews, it seems that many would agree. The first game is sitting at an overwhelmingly positive rating, while Sons is sitting at a very positive rating. Again though, at least in my opinion, if you have played the Forest, liked it, and wanted to see more with friends, I think it's worth a the money in time. It is worth noting that I didn't play The Forest when it was in early access. I waited until the full release to buy it, and as a result, right from the get-go, it felt like a completed and very polished game to me. I have a good feeling that End Night Games will make this game even better than The Forest with due time.